Light the beam, because it's time for Nerdy for 30, the podcast where we usually talk about nerdy-ish movies for 30-ish minutes. My name, Kevin Bauer, a.k.a. The Critic's Choice. With me, as always, the people's champ, Tim Keck.
If you feel it, chase it, baby.
You feel it, chase it. Today we're doing something a little different. We are bringing you a special episode called Heaven and Heck. We're giving you bad advice despite our good intentions. We're going to start you off by catching you up on a couple of things Tim and I want to bounce off each other, and head on over to r/advice and tackle the biggest questions that Reddit had available on the day we were taping. Tim, what's been going on lately? What do you want to talk about? What's the topic you brought today?
Okay, so I went, me and my girlfriend went out of town this past weekend, and her family has a dog, this wonderful, beautiful pit that's just the loveliest dog to humans and would murder other dogs. It will actively hunt down and kill other dogs, but humans, it wouldn't hurt a fly. It's so sweet. It's so wonderful.
That's what I love this dog. Continue.
And so the parents are out of town. We pick up the dog, bring it with us. And I got to tell you, I don't know if I'm a dog owner. I don't know if I'm a dog guy. I think the good moments are really good. The good moments are really nice. And when I've been with the family, because dad's the one, it's like the dad's dog. Mm-hmm. So when dad's around and dad's in charge of like the poops and the sleep schedule and all of that stuff, it's like I can just come up and like cuddle with the dog and it's wonderful. And I get to sit the dog in my lap and that's great. But when I'm the one picking up poop, or even when I'm near the person picking up poop, I don't love it. It's not my favorite thing. Did you know dogs just like get up? I'm assuming this is my idea of what all dogs are like, just spending a weekend with the dog. The dog doesn't want to go to sleep. The dog, I got up in the middle of the night to pee. The dog's ready to go. It's like up, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to go back to bed. I don't want to rile this thing up. It's up at 5 a.m. anyway. It's got to go out. And then it's running around. And then when we're walking around the neighborhood, it sees other dogs and it like loses its shit. And then you got to like hold it back. And it's like dragging my girlfriend around the city we're in. And it's just a lot. It's just so much. And then you're like, oh, I'll bring the dog out. But then the dog's out and then the dog wants to go back in. It's like a baby. It's like having a baby, I imagine. I've never had a baby, but it was just way more work than I was expecting. And for whatever reason, I found that surprising.
Interesting. So I'm assuming you never had a dog growing up.
I've never had a dog growing up. We had cats, and that was nice. I had some parakeets that kind of sucked. They just I thought I'd be able to train them to like sit on my finger or something. Could not do it. Spent days and days trying to get my little parakeet named Blue Zebra to sit on my finger, name. And it did not do that. That's terrible. That's the kind of thing. My sister named one Sunshine because it was yellow and mine was blue and it had like kind of like black and white stripes on the wings. So I called it Blue Zebra. And I feel like I'm a pretty creative, fun person. And then I'm like, oh, I must have been, like I did comedy of like, achieved some things artistically. And then I'm like, my parents must have been blown away by my brilliance. And then they're like, this dumbass kid named his bird Blue Zebra. His sister, who's 3 years younger, came up with a normal name for a bird, which is Sunshine. But Tim just got Blue Zebra. Like my folks outlier. Showed me
Malcolm Gladwell status. That circled all the way back around. Blue Zebra is a fucking sick name for a parakeet. Dude, no question.
Today it would be awesome. Back then it was like, this kid's weird. And so we were going through some stuff for like my childhood. And did you ever have to do like a scholastic, like you ever have to like write a book or something? There were like always these little award things, in elementary school, you write a book and you send it in, you get a ribbon or a competition thing. And I'm like, I must have blown these out of the water. And my sister got an award for this one about a mouse that got into the house and we had to catch it. And she took photos of stuff and then she wrote this book. It was just about catching a mouse in the house. And I'm like, this is some A to B shit. You're not blowing anybody's mind with this. And this is what's getting ribbons. I'm like, I must have gotten a ton of awards, Right. And then my mom's like, no, you didn't. Your stuff was weird. Nobody knew what you were talking about. And I found one, and it is just the most blatant Animorphs ripoff I've ever heard. I'm like, it's like Visser 7 or whatever. I don't know who the bad guy is in Animorphs, but I just made it like 7, 8, 9, 6, 5. And like that somehow it's different. And then my guys can morph into animals for 3 hours. And it was just straight up.
God.
But it's just like, but it's like all of Animorphs in like 10 pages of, some like, and I'm like cartoon drawings. There's like no photos. It's like me drawing cartoons of like these ships like being blown apart and stuff.
So
and I'm like,
you wrote a Wikipedia synopsis.
Yeah. I did a fan service version of Animorphs in a 3rd grade book fair, and I didn't get acknowledged for it.
Damn. I'm sorry.
And
dude.
so
they let you down.
Yeah, I guess genius just ebbs and flows is what I'm saying.
I think that's the thing, dude. Yeah, I was the same way. My sister got a ton of awards and was like a really good writer. I was in the same thing. It was called Power of the Pen. They would bus us to these like colleges when we were in like junior high. They would bus us to these colleges around in Northern Ohio, and you'd be there for an afternoon, and you would basically have like an hour to write like a prose piece. There's a few pages. And I was always like, they would give you a prompt. I was always like, I'm crushing it. And it had to be the weirdest shit because like you, I was obsessed with Animorphs. And, I had a little dash of the Sonic the Hedgehog in there. It was deep into Sonic the Hedgehog lore at the time. And this stuff had to be incomprehensible. I also want to circle back on your topic of names, though, for pets, because kids having really interesting names for their pets is one of my favorite things in the world. My sister's nephew had 2 fish, and they were like, what do you want to name the fish? And his choice was to name one Homie and the other Hammer. So for like 3 years, they just had Homie and Hammer hanging out in a fish tank. Incredible. We get that beat out of us by society. There's no 25-year-olds being given a fish from doing a ring toss at a county fair and being like, yeah, I'm going to name this one Hammer.
I know. I mean, you really spend so much time as a kid, I feel like, being weird. And then your whole goal is to just not be weird and like conform. And then as an adult, you're like, hey, all the weird kids seem to be having more fun. Like, I think it's okay to be weird and like get into goofy stuff,
Yeah.
Maybe we're the first generation.
Bands.
Maybe we're the first generation who like really gets to do that stuff too. Like I feel like we're the generation that's growing up and still playing video games. Right. And like still, it just seems like more prevalent. Like now, we're able to choose our own thing. Here. Yes. And that's what I really wanted to talk about. This pet thing is Pokemon. That was my big thing leading into this.
Let's go.
So
near and dear to my heart.
I've been playing Legends Arceus. It's all I want to do. I wish we could stop the pod right now so I could just play Legends Arceus. Just running around, catching Pokemon, all that stuff. There's this trend on TikTok. By the time this comes out, it's probably not going to exist anymore. But have you seen the trend where it's like my real life Pokemon team? Like what a realistic Pokemon team I would be. And then people are posting these things, and already it's been like made fun of because people would be like, I love the water, so I'm going to get, like a Squirtle, I go hiking, so I'm going to get a Golem. And it's just like people just are immediately like, I like science, so I'm going to have 3 Mewtwo's. And everyone's like making fun of them for that, like a massive overcorrection. Like you're just like, oh, just living your normal life. I'm just going to have like the craziest, biggest, most monstrous Pokemon I'm ever going to have. The real life version of this actually would be like a couple Pidgeys, and I'd have like a Rattata. But then I was even thinking about this even more is like the idea of taking care of these guys. Like Snorlax is my guy. I love Snorlax. I get him. He just sleeps like 24 hours a day and then eats and then sleeps again. And that resonates with me. That means something. But I can't imagine having that thing around. I mean, I'm in an apartment. Feeding it alone is going to bankrupt. It's going to bankrupt me. I remember seeing a picture in zoo books of like what elephants eat. And it's like a human person and then an elephant. And then next to them is just a mountain, like 5 times the size of the elephant with like, bananas and fruits and hay and all this stuff. And like, I imagine a Snorlax is probably as big as an elephant and eating all that. Like it would bankrupt me. It would ruin me, to have a Snorlax. So I guess I was just thinking about how realistic these teams are. And even I was like, you know what? The most realistic team is like 6 Pidgeys, but it's like, then you're that guy with 6 birds. You just have
I
six
saw
birds?
that go. I saw that exact guy at Coney Island like 2 weeks ago.
Dude, these
Swear to
people are
God.
weird. These people are weird with six birds. Six birds is a commitment. You know,
Mhm.
six cats, it's like you're a cat person. Six birds, it's like this is a crazy person. You know, you're not even a bird person. Bird person is like 3. It's like, oh, I like birds. And then it's like, this guy's got too many birds, like real quick.
Yeah.
The line between being a cat person and having too many cats, I think, is a lot closer than having birds and having too many birds. I think the line of too many birds is pretty close.
Yeah, the line of too many cats is 3. Anything above 3, you got a lot of cats. I feel like I want to draw the line for too many birds at 2. So if you have 2 birds or more, you have too many birds, except I know that there's some of those species of birds that like die if they're not together.
Yeah.
You know, they have to.
Sure.
That's like a thing. They get
We all
too
die
sad.
from loneliness.
Yeah. It's the bird loneliness epidemic.
That is kind of wild that there was a scientific breakthrough one day where they're like, hey, this species of bird, when we take it away from everyone it's ever known and loved and shove it in a cage in this guy's apartment, it looks really sad.
It's not doing well.
That's crazy. It's not thriving in this environment. This is wild. I don't understand. This must be a bird that needs a friend. It's like, this is the only bird that needs a friend. This is the only we only know about this species of bird. Let's try another one and separate it from its thing. So even then I was like, because, you know, I'm like, what would my team be? And I'm from Florida. So I feel like I can have a crazier team, you know, like I went surfing, saw sea turtles. I could have a Squirtle, you know, I went to the University of Florida. There's gators all over Florida. I could have, you know, an alligator Pokemon, one of those. And then, you know, I've seen dolphins in the river. I think there's like dolphin Pokemon now. Seen manatees. Like I've seen a lot of wildlife. But if I caught all these Pokemon and then was living my best life and you came over to my house and I had full on an alligator, a sea turtle, a dolphin, and a manatee, just all like where they're just flopping around on the ground, like in my apartment, I have to like hose them down constantly. I mean, it just doesn't seem realistic at all.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Tim, because after going to Japan, I went back through and booted up like Pokemon Leaf Green. It was the Game Boy Advance remake of Red and Blue, and have been playing through it because I mean, I realized, you know, that game was so huge for me in my childhood. I played Red, Blue, and Yellow. I mean, up and down, did the whole Pokedex, all the glitches, everything. Like, spent truly so much time in that game, and then I realized, like, I think I basically just kind of beat it the one time. I don't know that I beat my red or yellow ones after I had blue. I think I just kind of like, you know, would like borrow a game pack from a kid that had it and wasn't playing it, get enough to transfer the exclusive Pokemon over or something. I don't know how the shit I was doing that with one Game Boy, but somehow I don't think I ever really beat this. And I was like, this is this thing that meant so much to me. And I beat it one time, like almost 30 years ago, which is crazy. So I was like, I don't even remember this. So I've been going back through and playing it again, which is a fun little memory hole to go down. And it's strange that it's so fun in the game to have all these creatures and stuff and do all this battling. And all the people you meet, they have maybe one.
Yes.
And it's pretty chill Pokemon. It will be like a Pidgey, or there's like one dude who's just hanging out with a Machop outside. And at the time I thought that was insane. And now it's like nobody would go be a Pokemon trainer. Nobody has the space. Why would you? Like, of course, it feels like it would be about as rare as somebody who like goes into playing soccer professionally. Like, you have to have a whole team. You got to have a facility you're working out of. Yeah. You can't just do this.
Yeah, like the first gym leader is like has a Geodude and a giant rock snake Onyx.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, these Pokemon are pretty lame. You can just whoop their ass, but they live in a town of rats and pigeons.
Yeah.
So the rock snake is king. They are gods among
rock
men.
Snake is king. Oh,
You know?
There's a thing. The anime, I went back and watched a couple episodes of the anime too. There's a thing where it's this guy who started his own gym. It's not in the games at all. It's just like a dude who put up like a carnival big top out in the woods and declared that it's his gym. and he has a Sandshrew using resistance bands. Like he is straight up just out there training one Sandshrew really hard, and that's his gym because that's what people have bandwidth for.
Wow. I mean, that's the most realistic thing is like having one Sandshrew, feeling constantly overwhelmed by it and praying it doesn't evolve.
Yeah. Oh,
like
God.
We don't have Sandslash money.
No, God, no.
We have room for a Sandshrew. Okay. But no Sandslash. And then.
No, Sandslash needs a backyard.
They need land. They need an acre. They're tunneling. They are a municipal nightmare. You're going to have to get the comptroller involved. Like these are.
You got to have a surveyor figure out where your lines are underneath. You can't have a Sandslash taking out your septic tank. Can you imagine?
So I do think that this game, Legends Arceus, is a good lateral move for Pokemon. Because I played Red and Blue and Yellow and I beat them all. But what's the phrase? The catchphrase is gotta catch them all. At no point did I ever think I would be able to catch them all.
Yeah.
It just wasn't possible because you have to trade for one. You have to do this. It's only in the other game. I got to get a cord. I remember having a cord at one point and it just didn't work. And it would transfer one Pokemon over, but then it didn't. So I would just beat all the gyms, beat the Elite Four, and then I would erase it and do it again. And I did that like a million times. Like beating the gyms was the game for me. And that seems like it's been the way Pokemon works forever. And now this Legends Arceus game is just sidestepping all of that and being like, what if instead of the gyms, you actually could complete the Pokedex? You can actually just in this game catch every single Pokemon and have a good time. And it makes so much more sense to me like this, that this is the process, that this is actually like living in the Pokemon world. Because then you're traveling and there's nothing but like Paris. There's like, mushroom crabs. They're all over the place. And it's like, of course they are, because we're in this area and that's all the animals there are. If I go to Central Park, there's squirrels. There's like one owl. There's one owl just hopped up on rat poison that's flying into skyscrapers and clear windows. And then there's some rats and, like a deer maybe, and like raccoons and stuff. Right. And then maybe there's like something that escaped from the zoo. And that's it. And so like this feels realistic to like have to work your way through like all these Magikarps to go find something cool and to have to trek out of your way to get all these cool things. And for the first time, the idea of catching them all, that's actually my goal. And I feel like this game will be beaten when I catch them all. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the idea of catching all these little things. And I just love looking at them, man. I like looking at them. I like looking at all the different shapes and just seeing them all being little cute little guys. And it's a lizard and it's on fire. And it's a ball. They made this like electrode. It's just a round ball. And now it's made of wood too. It's electric and wood. And I'm like, that's fun. That's just a fun, nice thing to do. And I've just been having a good, nice time with it, as opposed to in the past, it was like grind, grind, grind. I must win. I will kill everything. And now it's kind of like, hey, man, these are great. I'm going to try and catch this guy. This is nice. Yeah. It's fun. It just seems a lot more laid back.
Definitely. Yeah. Incredible move. I'm so glad you're liking the game because it is so much of a zag that is kind of a hit and miss thing. You're either really going to dig it or you're not. But it does make you realize the extent to which the other games are just absolutely getting deep into rock, paper, scissors. You are just basically playing so much rock, paper, scissors with people in the other games. And like, which now I wonder if that game exists. That would be a really funny game for us to make. It's just Pokemon, but all you're doing is playing rock, paper, scissors. You're like taking damage for the different hits.
Scissors beats rock.
Fun. Could be sick. Oh
this
my
guy,
God.
But they tell you what he's playing. Oh, he threw out this guy. That means it's rock. It's like, okay, well, I got to bring out my scissors then, or I got to bring out my paper.
I'm picturing it's just we're throwing our hands. So instead of a Pokemon coming out, it's just your hand coming out with a scissors thing.
But it's for like, Pokemon, like theirs would come out first, and then you would see it, and you would be able to react, and you'd be like, they'd put out a rock, and you'd be like, I have scissors out. You know what? I'm going to switch to paper, and then you win. Like that's.
But then they switch it too.
Then they switch too. I mean, I was trying to think of it. I don't have another good example locked and loaded. I should have, but. Of another thing, another item, another IP making like a complete like lateral shift into something else. Like the Harry Potter book to Harry Potter world. Like maybe that's something kind of like that with like superheroes, comic books, and now we're making movies. But that even seems similar. But it's like this game went from like a fighting game to like a hanging out game.
Yeah. Flawlessly. Just absolutely flawlessly.
And it makes sense. And it like fills out the world. So I've been trying to think of like another pivot like that, like with, I don't know. It seems like the NBA and then like the 3-on-3 league or something like that. Right. Or like,
yeah, I wonder if like, does like Cyberpunk count where it's like, you know, you could either go with like, I guess Cyberpunk was like a D&D style game, but you could basically take that from like, Cyberpunk, and then the anime Cyberpunk Edge Runners was great.
Would be like another
Clue. Like what about Clue?
Oh, Clue's like a board game to a movie. I mean, that's a pretty good one.
Great comedy.
That's a great transition. Yeah, I was thinking like if Candy Crush, you suddenly had to like water and feed the candies.
Oh yeah,
you know, and it just became a gigapet or something. Like that. That's
cool.
The kind of lateral move it feels like they made, you know?
God, it is so cool that it works. So much of the success of that franchise too depends on exactly what you said, which is just that these things are fun to look at. That's another one I've been thinking about where, again, it's been almost 30 years since I played the original game, and I still like looking at it. I don't think it's going to go away. If it's been here for this long, I don't think I'm going to be 60 and be like, you know what? I don't much care for this. Like looking at that little Voltorb, it makes me happy, Tim.
I like looking at them. I think I still have like my old cards somewhere, and I'll go home and I'll open it up and I'll like just look at them. And then I like it. I have like some old action figures from when I was a kid, and I'll just like go and look at them. You know, I like looking at stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice. I think people always want to look at, I think people will always want to look at things. That's my hot take.
Damn. Yeah. Wow.
Got it with a damn. People are always going to want to look at stuff.
They do. That's so us. That's so people.
That's so us. That's so people.
Man. Tim, the thing I wanted to talk about today was insomnia.
Oh, geez.
The day we're recording this, I mentioned this before we started recording. I got 3 hours of sleep last night. I slept from like midnight to 3 a.m. basically. Woke up so alert, so awake out of nowhere. That's not me. That's not normal. So I went out. I did what I normally do. I go to the couch and I put on an episode of the show Paradise, which is pretty much guaranteed to put you to sleep. And it didn't work. So I watched that. And then I was like, well, you know, I'm here. I might as well watch an episode of that show Adults. So I did that. And then it's like, well, you know, I had the alarm set for 6:45. There's enough time now. I could just go back to bed, get another hour and a half. I guess 90 minutes is about how long a REM cycle lasts. So I can get one of those. And at least then I'll have, 4.5 hours of sleep instead of 3. No, couldn't do it. Could not fall asleep. Laid there for a half an hour. Woke up, came out, edited an episode of our podcast. Just didn't know what else to do. Just hung out this morning, and it sucked. I was so tired. What do you do in that kind of a situation? Do you ever have that happen?
Of course I do. This is a tough beat. Not being able to sleep is tricky. And I'll tell you my three biggest things is having a nighttime routine. That helps me. You know, I have like those Google Hue lights, and I saw something on TikTok the other day that was like, put your sunglasses on like an hour before bed.
Whoa.
And it's just to like condition yourself. Like the lights are going down. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing with my lights. The lights in my room like slowly dim before I go to bed. And then I'm adjusted to the dark, you know?
Yeah.
And if I like quickly, it's like Blood Moon is like their low light blue and red feature. And if I just went to Blood Moon, it'd be like, whoa, it's dark in here. But the slow fade, I just slowly grow accustomed to it. And then it's dark and it's nice. And I love that. That helps me go to sleep. And then
damn, that's a really good idea. I've never done one. We have the one that fades up to wake you up. I've never done a fade down. That's nice.
Don't you have the Philips Hue?
We do, yeah, but I've never done fade down on it. We just do the fade up, fade down. We gotta start doing.
Gotta fade down. Yes.
Wow.
It's so nice. The fade down. I can't recommend the fade down more, or just put your sunglasses on. Those are the options, I think.
Yeah. What's his name? Corey, whatever, that did Sunglasses at Night. Corey Hart. No.
Yeah.
That's a wrestler. Yeah.
I wear my sunglasses. Corey the Hitman Hart.
Corey the Hitman Hart. That's it.
That's it. He wears his sunglasses in Canada. I don't know.
Boy, I used to read before. That was one thing that I've gotten very out of the habit for. The best it ever was the book American Gods. You know, incredible pre-sleep book. Something that's nice and esoteric about that. It's like I haven't found another book. I tried immediately after that. I tried to read the book Meet Me in the Bathroom about like the the rebirth of indie rock in New York City. And it was terrible because it'd be like 9:30 or 10 p.m. and I'm reading a book about how people in their 20s are living their best lives, staying out until like 3:30 in the morning. And I'd be like trying to go to sleep. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm in my pajamas. I'm 26. Like,
yeah. No, I feel that. I mean, my Kindle puts me to sleep. That's my thing. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I go back to the Kindle. It's backlit. I leave all the lights off and I just read till I fall asleep, and I fall asleep.
Damn.
And it usually gets me, you know. I mean, there's some days when you just get up and you can't go back to sleep, but I feel like the Kindle light usually helps me knock out. And you got to find the right book. Lately I've been reading, I think it's called like the Dresden Files or something. Oh,
they made that a show, didn't they?
It's like right in my I don't know if they made it into a show, but it's like right in my weird wheelhouse where it's like fantasy but reality. So it's like a guy who is like a quote unquote wizard who lives in Chicago and helps the PD solve like, you know, supernatural crimes. Mm-hmm. And so this book, it's like someone was murdered by a werewolf and he has to go find out the werewolf. So he talks to like a Chicago gang member, and is that gang using werewolves to like intimidate another gang and stuff. And it's the kind of book where I think I looked it up and there's like 12 of them in the series, but you don't have to read them in order. They're just like,
awesome. Oh, you know, rules.
like you get things out of reading them in order, but I think you could also just pick it up and it's just like some story about some guy. And it's just right on the thing of like, I like reading it, but I could put it down. And if I fall asleep, I'm okay with closing it. You know, I could read a page, I could read 3 chapters and it's fine.
Oh, and that's the thing, dude, with Paradise. It's like you can fall asleep whenever. It's fine.
Yeah. I have that trouble with shows, though, because shows I like need to know what happened. I'm always like a cliffhanger. Like, are they getting back together? Are they doing whatever? Plus, something about the TV just keeps me up. I don't know what it is.
I mean, that's one of the big things.
The other thing, my final bit of advice, which I think I gave someone the other day, was like, if you want to go to bed early, well, I guess it's more about going to bed early. If you want to go to bed early, get up early. Like, you know, I try to go to the gym when I go at like 7 a.m. And so I have to wake up at 6:30. And it's like, it's real easy to go to bed by 10 the night before. You know, you don't go to bed early one night before and go to the gym with like 5 hours of sleep. And you know what? I'm going to go to bed better the next day. Like, you have one bad session and then it like kind of conditions you to get in bed a little bit more. So I've become obsessed with the sleep hygiene thing.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, definitely got to get better hygiene. And it's interesting you mentioned that because I've got like PT sessions. That's physical therapy for those with bad backs out there that are on Thursday mornings. And it is a thing where it's like, you have to eat something. You absolutely have to eat something before that. So it's kind of one of those things where I know the last possible time I can wake up on those days in order to actually be able to do the stuff. And you know, I always do it. I never have trouble waking up on those days. I never hit snooze because I know the consequences.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It turns out all we need are consequences.
Yeah.
And people will do anything. That sounds good until the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, it is. The consequences of my actions, sleeping in late. Oh, it's easier to avoid those.
It's incredible when people don't need consequences or when people are actually able to make a call to do something because it is, I'm just describing adulthood. It's amazing when people are responsible enough to know, hey, it's going to be bad for my health if I eat that on like a reasonable threshold. So like, I don't do heroin because I know it's one of the most addictive things on earth. So if I do it once, I'm probably going to do it more. Like as would be true for anybody. So I just don't do it in the first place. Then I remember there's a thing with Larry David where they're asking him how he still looks so good at his age. And he's like, I don't eat junk food. You know, if people bring a pizza around, I have one slice. And they're like, just one? And he's like, one slice, never two. And Lauren and I say that to each other all the time with like, not eating too much junk food or something. Just one slice, never two is an incredible self-discipline thing. But it's amazing when people have that.
Yeah, I feel like I've been saying not worth the calories a lot to myself.
Interesting.
Not lately, but when I'm eating good, and it's like, because sometimes there's someone's like, hey, it's my birthday. Do you want some birthday cake? And it's like, you know what? I don't want birthday cake. It's the worst of the cakes. Cakes are pretty low on my list anyway. I'll get a donut later or something, like, or maybe I'll just forget about it. But it's like eating this cake is just, I'm not going to enjoy it. It's just extra stuff. So why bother? And I feel like that's a pretty healthy way to look at stuff, is just kind of like, listen, if I get this bag, I'm going to eat the whole bag and then I'm going to feel bad. So it's just like not worth doing right now. Again, I guess it's just consequences. It's just, if he eats 2 slices of pizza, he gets, doesn't feel good. It's whatever. But, also lapses are okay. Okay. Do you want to rapid fire do that Reddit?
Yeah, let's do it.
I feel like this whole pod was supposed to be just Reddit questions, and we've just been talking. And you know what? I think that's okay. I know. Sorry for the listeners who tuned in specifically for answers to Reddit questions, but the Reddit community, I apologize. I formally apologize.
Also, if you're really fiending for a response to the Reddit questions, go on Reddit, dude. You can find these. Tim, here's my first one. Is 40 too old to go to college? I just turned 40 in May, single mom of 2 teens. I've decided to finally go to college, online university. I've always wanted to, but the cards I was dealt in my earlier years, I wasn't able to. I'll be 44 by the time I'm done, but I hate that I keep thinking, am I too old? Adding it is a 4-year degree, Bachelor of Science in Health Administration. What do you think, Tim? Too old or no?
Listen, maybe you're too old to lay out on the ultimate Frisbee course. To like get that end zone touchdown for your frat or whatever it is. Or maybe you can't keg stand as long as you would have in your prime. But come on, online courses, trying to better yourself. This is what your 40s are for.
Hell yeah.
Right? This is what you should be doing. Go back to school. Do whatever. Who gives a shit? Also, I will say now, like, when I was 16, I thought I was like an adult. I was like, I'm an adult. I'm a grown up. And now when I see 16-year-olds, I'm like, they are children.
Yes.
They're nothing. Their opinion means nothing to me. And I feel that about like college kids now. It's like, who are you? You're children. You're all just your babies. I don't want you around me. I don't really want to be around you. Like, a lion does not concern himself with the opinions of college kids. And so go back there, kick ass, get yours, do your thing, and, get a better job after this, hopefully. Don't get too much debt, and hopefully you get a good job and you make your life better and your kids' lives better. That'd be great. It's wonderful. It's the right thing to do. Kevin, you're anti-education. What do you think about this?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to say that I spent my years doing keg stands for my online university. I think, obviously not too old to go back. I would urge the person to make sure that the career path that they're going into isn't about to get fucking obliterated by AI. If you're going to put the work in to do any kind of degree right now, I feel like it may be short-term safer to go into one of the trades. I genuinely feel like if I was graduating right now, like, I was so into the idea of the college experience. I desperately wanted that. I had opportunities to like graduate early or come out here and do an internship. I chose not to do that because I wanted 4 years of the college experience. I wanted to be making that touchdown catch on the quad for my ultimate team. Now I'd probably go to trade school. I'd probably go be an electrician. It kind of seems sick. I've been doing stuff in our apartment and I'm like, man, I sure would love to know more about like the way that electrical systems work in a practical way in all of our homes that are already here, or, threatening people's lives when they try to do this kind of work on their own. So I would like to do that. I would urge you to consider becoming an electrician, board certified, but if not, go administrate the shit out of the hospital.
I think they used to have classes like that. Like back when our parents were in school, it was like, isn't that what home ec was like, oh, the toilet's clogged. How do I fix it? Or it's running. Like I can do like I feel like there used to be more classes on like the skills you need to just be an adult, and that, you know, we've like intentionally gotten rid of those.
Oh yeah. in favor of pushing towards standardized testing.
Yeah, standardized testing, making everybody like dumb, repetitive sheep that just kind of follow where they're sent, right? And I think it's just a rat race and everyone's kind of doing their best. But I always envied the people in school who knew what they wanted to be.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, dude.
And if you know what you want to be, I think even at 40, at any time in your life, if you know what you want to do, you should do it. Because knowing is the majority of the battle.
Yeah.
Knowing and being committed are the majority of the battle. And if if you know something and you want it so bad that you are willing to sacrifice other aspects of yourself to go get it, I think that says a lot about what this means to you and that it's something you should do. But I mean, I knew a girl in college who she just wanted to be a sports anchor. That's all she wanted to do. And every step of her life through high school, through college, was heading towards being a sports anchor. And now I see her on TV all the time on ESPN.
Awesome.
And I'm really happy for her. I'm a little jealous, but I remember at the time being jealous of like, this is what she wants to do. It's all she wants to do. She tells everybody she meets, this is what she wants to do. Every other activity she's doing, it's like, by the way, this is just so I'm well-rounded enough to do this on TV and become a sports anchor because I'm obsessed with sports. I'm obsessed with all this stuff. And it's just, I love that. It's incredible. It's incredible to orient your life in that way. And for her to ultimately succeed doing it, I think is really impressive and awesome. And that's what I'm jealous of a little bit.
Damn, dude,
of other
rules.
people. Yeah.
I had no idea that you knew Aaron Andrews.
Laura Rutledge. She probably doesn't know who I am at all, but we went to school together and now she's on TV a bunch and I'm really happy for her.
Shout out Laura. What's up? You got your dreams.
Shout out
person
Laura.
on Reddit, they're next. She's coming for you. She's going to be the hospital administrative version of that. Listener, what do you think of anything we said in this episode? Let us know. Send us an email, nerdy430@gmail.com. We'll be back here again next week with something else fun for you. Till then, stay nerdy, everybody. Bye.
Stay nerdy. Bye.